not the physical, I need to be the best fighter. It's I need to be the best feeler.
Yeah. No, I gotta say, at first I'm like, man, this kid's a jerk. And then when the kid did that, it made me so happy. So there are neat human touches. Mm-hmm. And they also surrounded Bale with some excellent actors in this film.
This movie was such a sleeper and such just like talent harvest.
Sean Bean, when he gets killed.
So good.
You gotta tread lightly, man. That made me so sad.
Yeah. No, it was a real, and again, I think this is one of those things where small budget, writer, director, and then like a committed cast all at the right time came together and created this kind of like beautiful little movie.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you remember this when I put up on Facebook, what final fight should we talk about? People wanted this one. Like a lot of people wanted this one. So why do you think people wanted this one? What do you think it is about this film? It's a cult classic, right? They didn't release it in theaters because they already made a profit on. It's $10 million to make. They made a profit.
So I saw it in a small Toronto theater after it came out on DVD.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there's this little like artsy theater that would like put things like special. It was like $4 to go see it. The Princess Cinema or whatever it was called. And so I got to see it in the theater. And that's why I found out about it. But I think it's a twofold thing, Mark. I think first off, it's just a great final fight. It's just a great action. But I also think there's something cool about knowing something that isn't mainstream.
Yeah.
Like 9 out of 10 people you talk to about Equilibrium, they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And I think there's something about like, this is like our secret code. You know what I mean? You know, back in the day before the internet, and you had a movie or you came across a VHS and like no one else knew about it, and then like you and your friends had this like, yeah, like we know about this, but no one else. There was something cool about that, and I think like sleeper movies like this are kind of filling that niche right now.
Do you think that 9 out of 10 people don't know about it, but that one person's Equilibrium, dude, that they just say, oh, that scene with Preston and Brandt where he slices his face off? I mean, that's all right. So we talked about the final fight, but do you think the surprise, I think everything what you said is perfect. It's a community of us, right. And we love this movie.
I tested you in like our third or fourth podcast when we talked. We had made reference to Underworld, and I said, I don't remember, but I said, yeah, they stole the face slice from Equilibrium.
Oh, when Bill Nighy got face sliced.
Right, and then you said something about like, yeah, well, that was he must have gone to cleric school, and I was like, okay, Mark and I are on the same page.
Best friends? Do we just become best friends?
Yeah.
Because listen, man, I borrowed this DVD from someone who borrowed it from someone.
Right.
If someone would have been next to me in my home when the face slice happened, I would have picked somebody up and ran around my house with them.
Yeah, it was so good.
And this is gonna be crazy. So I hadn't watched this movie in a while. I totally forgot about the slap fight at the end.
Well, because your mind goes face slice.
Yeah, I legit didn't remember it. I remembered everything leading up to it and after. So maybe I was jumping up and down, and then I just maybe lost track of the slap fight. I did not remember that at all, and I was a little let down by it. But I think because of the budgetary restraints and all that, I think they had to do what they had to do because the fight with Taye Diggs was supposed to be longer. So maybe they stretched out the fight longer with DuPont.
Right.
And they had a very limited shooting schedule. So, I mean, you can't expect something super epic. But, yeah, it's just hard. I keep feeling it feels hard to get worked up to the DuPont kill. But I think it ends beautifully. And I kind of love that. He's like, is it really worth the price? And then Christian Bale says, I pay it gladly. And he kills the guy. And then he walks out to a better world. I think it's going to be a better world. So
100%.
It's a very optimistic ending. And it's just, man, I just got to tell you, and we've said it 8 times. So I love just how tough Bale is. And I get annoyed with movies nowadays. And we're going to be talking about Hobbs and Shaw soon. I love that film. And it's purposely goofy. But in these movies where you have these very large men steamrolling people, it's annoying. It feels more like an ego thing. But in this movie, it seems more like a character thing. Yeah.
And again, he's doing it emotionless. He has the moral compass of a villain for the whole first 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah.
Because he's going on no emotion, right? Mm-hmm. And so he's struggling with that. How do I embrace my humanity the whole time?
Watching him with that puppy, though, he's like, I'm going to take it for testing.
Oh yeah, no, like that. It was so tense, and they're like, don't look in the trunk, don't look in the trunk. And they built the suspense in that scene so well.
And then after, remember, there's a big gunfight going on, and he sees these guys who feel. He's like, let's get out of here. He's like, we're not going to trust you. He's like, come on. They're like, no, you're going to shoot us in the back. He's like, come on. And they're like, no. I'm like, just go with Christian Bale.
Right.
I was like, God. So I found myself really invested watching this film again. And then the face slice happens, and I picked up my wife and ran around the house with her.
So, and I think this film can be summed up as it's a dystopian kind of that Marxist anti-societal story disguised as a high action movie.
Yep, I would say so.
So then you get your cake and eat it too.
I want to watch this and Gattaca back to back.
Oh, Gattaca's so good.
So good. Well, this was fun, man. Thanks for joining me for this final fight. I'm glad that we got to talk about Equilibrium. I mean, this was, man, I love this movie.
No, so Equilibrium and Snowpiercer it'd be a perfect movie night.
Oh, ooh, that'd be a great movie night.
Yeah. Get
some bugs, eat them.
Imagine those two things were happening simultaneously in the same universe.
I just did. I'm going to write a book about it.
So the southern hemisphere is all frozen and the train's going around, but then in the northern hemisphere where it's warmer, Equilibrium's happening.
I could see it.
That'd be amazing.
I want Tilda Swinton and DuPont to hang out. That'd be interesting.
Right?
Can there be shoe throwing?
There has to be. It's part of the shoe kata.
All right, so you'd have the mom from Hobbs and Shaw. You'd have the guy from Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, this movie. We're going to have to make that up and just talk about it one day.
I'm in.
All right, this is good. Well, thank you for joining me. So for Mark Hoffmeyer and for Adam Hodgins, this is Final Fights. We'll see you next week.